Thank you for joining today's FEMA Go quarterly status briefing. We will begin the meeting now. Please take some time, if you're just joining us, please do take some time to answer the polling questions on your screen. And while you're doing that, also please note that all participants will remain muted during today's call. If you have any issues with IT, we ask that you drop a note in the Q&A pod. We will have a question and answer session at the end of the briefing for you to ask any type of questions you might have for us today. We do ask that you submit your questions again using the Q&A pod on your screen, and we will do our best to answer them during the allotted time today. My name is Jarrell Wilson Takahashi. I'm the FEMA Go Training Communications Coordinator, and at this, well, I'll give it another minute. It looks like we still have some people answering the polling questions, so I'll just give it another minute for you to answer those questions. Okay, so thank you for those who were able to answer those questions. Today, I am joined by the Technology Division Director, Alana Barnhart, and one of our FEMA Go training specialists, Timothy Price, and also the FEMA Go project manager, John Burke, who will also be facilitating the presentation today. With that, I will turn it over to Alana to get us started. Alana, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Sounds like Alana's on having some technical difficulties getting her audio going, so I will lead the intro here. Thanks, Jarrell. My name is John Burke. I'm the product manager for FEMA Go. I work for Alana on her team, and want to welcome you all to our quarterly stakeholder status briefing. I'm so pleased you've taken the time out of your busy schedule to spend with us in this briefing. We want to give you all questions and to ask questions that are on your mind when we get to the Q&A portion of the briefing. I'd like to provide you both a general overview of the GMM program, how we're building FEMA Go, look ahead at some of the new features we'll be deploying, and then give you a tour of the system. So FEMA delivers a lot of our grant dollars, 95% of the DHS total grants to state and local, tribal, and territorial governments, private nonprofits that provide critical services like hospitals and schools, before, during, or after a disaster in order to help the country prepare prepare for and respond to disasters and other emergency events. Many of FEMA's legacy grants management systems are aging, unsecure, and fragile. And building a new IT platform with a unified grants management process and a better user experience is very important to us. The new capability we are building will improve relationships with our recipients in the future. To put our program scope in context, this chart provides you an idea of how much federal grant money FEMA distributed to our recipients who partner with FEMA in improving national preparedness, resilience, and recovery. Over the last 10 or 15 years, FEMA has been authorized federal funding to deliver over 40 grant programs. The number goes up or down depending upon what Congress prioritizes for funding. This year, we're at 46 programs. The grant programs support recovery, preparedness, mitigation, and response for non-disaster, pre-disaster, and post-disaster grants. Understanding this portfolio allows us to identify opportunities for streamlining and standardizing grants lifecycle for similar programs. Slide.
Yes, we are. There it is. Thank you.
So as I review the information, please answer the poll question on your screen. The Grants Management Modernization Program is a holistic initiative to improve FEMA's management of grants and recipients' experience in working with FEMA. It includes the standardization of grants policy, doctrine, process, and the FEMA Go system. The wheel in the center of the slide represents the systems we will be replacing and ultimately decommissioning, including the grants reporting tool, the payment and reporting system, and the environmental historic preservation system that supports compliance reviews and are a necessary part of evaluating grant applications. As we complete our development, we will move data from those older systems to FEMA Go. We expect to complete the modernization and shut off these older systems by the end of FY25. Thank you for answering the poll question. A lot of good distribution of different.
Hear me now?
We can hear you, Alana. Take it away.
All right. Thank you for covering for my tech issues. So the first step that we took was to standardize the grants management lifecycle and the supporting capabilities. And you can see that in the wheel there on the right. And then we decomposed that lifecycle into approximately 40 business functions that could potentially be used by all FEMA grant programs. That standardization allows us to support new grant programs in the system very quickly. And just in time, I'll hand it back to John to talk about our product strategy.
Thanks, Alana. So the FEMA Go product strategy is to design features that are reusable and configurable for all grant programs across all phases of the grants management lifecycle. We start with the user need and use human-centered design techniques to build new, as we onboard new programs, we review FEMA Go's reusable features with the grant program staff, configure FEMA Go to support that program's funding opportunities or disaster declarations, and help prepare their users to transition, providing training, communications product, and help desk services. From FY 2018 to 2022, we delivered and improved on features that support all phases of the grants lifecycle using 6 of FEMA's grant programs as exemplars. That work provided a reusable foundation for us to onboard 14 additional grant programs in FY23, and we'll be onboarding the remainder of FEMA's grant programs this coming year. As one of the premier Agile programs in the Department of Homeland Security, we have pioneered enterprise Agile software delivery and governance in the department. What this means for you is that we are never done. Agile practices enable continuous delivery of software, adaptation and improvement of the product, and incorporate a continuous feedback loop from stakeholders. We are always iterating on the product and always delivering software and always defining requirements and doing design work and testing to deliver value for you, because you are who deliver on our mission to help people before, during, and after disasters. Alana, do you want to take the user experience design and change management?
Yeah, thank you very much. So FEMA Go uses a user experience design approach. Through that design approach, we employ a robust and adaptable customer experience engagement, which is critical to supporting our stakeholders and users through the development lifecycle. Stakeholder outreach is an important component of FEMA Go's development and our ultimate success. FEMA has defined and is committed to a user-centric and business-driven approach to grants transformation that's founded on active engagements with all of our grant stakeholders, including, of course, the internal FEMA grant programs, but also the grant recipients. We involve our users in every stage of development, from planning and design through validating functionality. FEMA facilitates multiple working groups, user research interviews, briefings, and outreach sessions such as this to keep our stakeholders informed about the development of FEMA Go. We also regularly survey all FEMA Go users on system usability and design. The results of those surveys and other user engagements are a key part of our user experience design approach that FEMA Go employs in system design, testing, and delivery. Later this year, we'll be updating that survey to solicit your feedback on how we can improve product strategy. We talk with users to select a proposed design, then build and demo a prototype to test that solution with actual users. Before moving into production, the functionality is then tested and refined with our users. These demos help us to check whether the delivered functionality meets the acceptance criteria, accept or reject the delivery, provide feedback, identify new requirements resulting from emergent needs, suggest ways to improve the functionality to increase benefits further for our end users, and testing activities ensure that we have delivered the required functionality at the right quality before we deploy the software into our production environment. The focus of our design work can be described in two ways: user experience research and user experience design. When we conduct user research, our goal is to understand and document the existing user experience. We often help the product delivery teams to identify assumptions and recommend the best ways to test them. We use a variety of research techniques. For each study, we are responsible for recruiting participants, conducting generative and evaluative research, and defining experience-based user outcomes for the product backlog. As UX designers, our team is making sure that the design of the component or interaction follows UX design best practices and employs standards from the US Web Design Standard. We test these design concepts by building prototypes and iterating what we've learned. Each product increment, our team works to define customer outcomes. We advocate for the end users and evangelize user-centered design and make sure that the product delivery team has a clear understanding of what the user needs and what their pain points are. Our UX design goal is to make sure that the product is easy to use and fulfills the user need. We want the user experience in FEMA Go to be satisfying and easy. We work very hard to provide the stakeholders, product managers, delivery teams with the outside-in vantage point that empowers them with user insights that will help make product decisions. Overall, this practice helps us to validate that a design solution will work for the people we are designing for. The only way to do that is to be informed with user research and testing with end users. We believe that the grant customer experience includes FEMA Go, but we think of customer experience as the entire end-to-end process that an applicant engages with FEMA, including offline and online interactions and the multiple touch points that we have with those communities. FEMA Go is one touch point in that interaction, and the entire customer experience is dependent on and affected by the user experience design and user experience within the FEMA Go system. Customer journey begins well before they log in and certainly continues outside the system. FEMA Go has a service management branch that gives us the ability to better analyze, understand, and synthesize user feedback from a variety of channels and to develop recommendations for customer experience improvements across a broad spectrum of grants management and support activities, including system design improvements. The branch will also complete system configurations for newly onboarding grant programs and new funding opportunities for those grant programs already in FEMA Go as they open each year, thereby reserving development capacity with our development contractors for other high-value activities. Next, we'll share with you what you could expect in the near future from FEMA Go. So some highlights. John, did you want to brief this or do you want me to take it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So some highlights from the past year. As previously mentioned, we onboarded 13 grant programs, incorporated the lessons learned into new streamlined workflows for the BRIC and FMA programs that will improve obligation rates and serve as the reusable foundation for our disaster programs. Change as part of their pilot, enhanced amendment and closeout capabilities, which have been used to close close to 1,000 grants for the preparedness fire programs. Every 3 months, we replan our product roadmap, which gives us a 9-month look ahead. Our strategic themes from December are primarily focused on what is needed to finish out our full operational capability and onboard remaining programs. But we are also considering our pivot to continuous improvement once we clear that threshold. Our FOC threshold date is the end of this month, and we are very excited to achieve that milestone. We are prepared to onboard 21 new grant programs for the FY24 funding opportunities and support our first disaster declarations. We will be moving to login.gov for ours as one of our hybrid following FOC. Here's a summary of our plan for onboarding. For the non-disaster programs, those are subject to appropriations and release of notice of funding opportunities. And for the disaster programs, we are working on a phased rollout, and the programs will be communicating the details on timing.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Timothy Price. I'm a member of the FEMA Go training team. I'm going to share with you some information about FEMA Go communications and training. FEMA Go communications creates standard, reusable FEMA Go content that can be integrated into grant program communication products. Our goal is to work closely with programs, create a coordinated single one message about FEMA Go, clearly identify a target audience with specific tailored to each group, promote helpful resources available on the internet and intranet to help users navigate FEMA Go, develop refresh information packets, products that accurately and clearly communicate about FEMA Go, including one-pagers and FAQs. When we release FEMA Go capability to users, we make sure that we wrap around communications, support services ready to help our recipients and employees as they use this new system. Our team has packaged up editable FEMA Go information and training products for our partners in the grants program to add more programmatic content. The programs then work to get the product out the door to their users and stakeholders. The external messaging templates we have drafted include links to resources, directions on how to create a FEMA Go account, review entity information that is pulled directly from sam.gov for updating, review FEMA Go user roles, and how to assign user roles. We also created a communications plan for onboarding FEMA grant programs onto FEMA Go during the FY 2024 appropriations. The plan includes an onboarding timeline of key activities and a communication schedule for pushing out external messaging templates. As I review the content in the next few slides, please answer the poll questions that are on your screen. We have various communication platforms that we utilize. Messaging is pushed through our web-based email subscription management account, FEMA Grants News. This account allows us to target our audience with personalized content related to a specific topic for a specific grant program. We're also able to track the effectiveness of our communications. For instance, we can see how many users are opening our communications and which links embedded in the messaging is getting a lot of clicks. These are just some of the analytics to inform us strategizing for future communication campaigns. The link to sign up for FEMA Go Grants News is listed in the web links pod on the screen. Let's go to that website now. Please sign up for FEMA Grants News at this time or use the bookmark feature on your browser to save this page for future reference. Another communication platform that Grants Program Directed or GPD uses is a Twitter account. We utilize Twitter to socialize grant information, deadline reminders, training opportunities, okay, so we use, I have to go back. We use Twitter to socialize grant information, resources for grants management. The Twitter account also for how stakeholders are responsible to the content, what's working, and what's not. And this data is used to improve content for future Twitter campaigns to get better results. Additionally, through our external FEMA Go website, applicants and award recipients can access FEMA Go user guides, FEMA Go video tutorials, login portal to FEMA Go, and review the FAQs. The FAQs are a great place to start and find answers to your questions. They're updated annually and provide an overview of FEMA Go. The user guides and videos are extremely helpful when you are using the system or teaching others how to use the system. They provide a step-by-step directions for logging in and completing tasks within FEMA Go. There are also specific internal FEMA employee products on our SharePoint page that can be used if a FEMA region wants to deliver trainings related to the system. We have developed FEMA Go pre-scripted PowerPoint presentations, PDF user guides, training videos that can be downloaded and are ready to present. We have links to the recordings and materials from the FEMA Go quarterly status briefings, FEMA Go one-pager supplemental guides, and FEMA Go external messaging templates on the SharePoint as well. Most importantly, we have the FEMA Go Help Desk. The FEMA Go Help Desk is a direct point of contact for users with system-related issues. In addition to capturing system problems, the help desk can point a user in the right direction if their questions are more programmatic related or could be resolved through our training prior communications. We are stressing the importance of contacting the FEMA Go Help Desk when users are experiencing any technical issues because this is the first line of defense for users to get support with their technical issues, and this lets us know what issues are out there. Their phone number is 1-877-585-3242, and their email is femago@fema.dhs.gov. If you need to reach to the FEMA Go help desk, their hours are from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And thank you for answering the poll questions. As I review the information, please answer some additional poll questions on the screen. The FEMA Go training team knows that we all learn differently, so we have created training products to suit a variety of different learning styles. Some users like the ability to ask a subject matter expert questions or otherwise be guided through the lesson by a live instructor. For this, we have scheduled virtual classes that are offered at a variety of dates and times. Some users like having a PDF of the lesson with each step written out. They will frequently keep this guide handy and reference it when needed. FEMA Go provides these user guides on our SharePoint for FEMA employees and on the FEMA website for external users. Still, some other users like the convenience and step-by-step guidance offered by a video. The video can be kept open and paused as the user goes through the FEMA Go system and completes the steps. For each training offered by FEMA Go, there is a companion video that is available. These videos are usually less than 20 minutes in length and provide concise instructions to complete the system task. And thank you for answering the other poll questions. The virtual training PowerPoint videos and PDF user guides for internal users can be found on our Train the Trainer SharePoint page. The Train the Trainer SharePoint, which is located on the Training section SharePoint, can be accessed to all our updated and finalized training products. Trainings are organized by the grant lifecycle and program type. To date, for the direct programs, we have 16 pre-award trainings, 2 award trainings, 5 post-award trainings, 3 post-award trainings. For pass-through programs, we have 10 pre-award trainings, and for disaster programs, we have 2 pre-award. Additional trainings for pass-through and direct programs are in development and will be available in time for use. Additionally, we have 9 other training documents, including FEMA Go Topics Guide, System Walkthrough, Training Tips, User Roles, and Permissions Guide, and 3 reports, Job Aids. In addition to internal training documents, we have external trainings available on the FEMA Go website. Our PDF user guides and training videos that are currently updated and finalized are stored here for external users. The link to FEMA Go within the web links pop. Go to that website. Please use the bookmark to bookmark this page. On the first page of the external FEMA Go website, there are links to the FAQs, contact information, and grants portal. Also on this page, you'll find our library of most up-to-date PDF user guides and YouTube training videos arranged by the grant lifecycle. Selecting the pre-award button will take you to the following guides: the FEMA Go Startup Guide, FEMA Go Application Guide, FEMA Go Pass-Through Application and Sub-Application Guide, FEMA Go Tips for Submitting an Application, and FEMA Go External Request for Information Training Supplement. Selecting the award button will take you to the FEMA Go Award Acceptance Guide. Selecting a post-award button will show you the FEMA Go Request a Payment Guide and FEMA Go Request an Amendment Guide. Lastly, selecting the Closeout button will take you to the FEMA Go Reports Processing Guide. Additional training products are currently in production and will be available in the time to be utilized by the external users. At this time, please navigate back. So now we're gonna so now we will view a portion of the FEMA Go application process video. The full version of this video is available on the FEMA YouTube site or by selecting a link in the web links pod on your screen. Videos for the FEMA Go Startup Guide, Request a Payment, Award Acceptance Guide, Request an Amendment Guide, and Reports Processing Guide are available and can be found on our YouTube playlist. After the video, we'll spend some time completing a survey and Alana will get us started with the next.
Hello and welcome to the FEMA Go application process training. This guide provides instructions for FEMA Go external users to log in, start an application, and complete the required sections in FEMA Go. This guide was prepared by the GPD Communications, Culture, Analytics, and Training branch. By the end of this FEMA Go training, you will be able to log in as an external user, complete an application, and print your application. The subjects we will cover in the table of contents include Section 1, Training Roles and Login, Section 2, Complete an Application, Section 3, Print Functionality Instructions, and Section 4, FEMA Go Help Desk. Now let's review the roles for this training and how to log in as an external user. This training is for the following roles: Authorized Organization Representative, AOR, Programmatic Member, PM, Organization Member, OM, Grant Writer, GW, and Financial Member, FM.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, this is Jarrell. We're just going to allow maybe another minute for a few more minutes to answer the polling questions you see on the screen right now. And following that, we will go into our Q&A session, and that'll be facilitated by Alana. Thank you.
And please feel free to go ahead and start dropping your questions in the Q&A pod. I see that we've had a couple of them, and we'll talk to those quickly. But if you have any additional questions, please feel free to go ahead and start putting those in now. Probably the first and most important question I wanted to talk to you about today was about some defects that have been causing issues with the use of FEMA Go, especially for the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities program. We have been working for more than a year now, a couple of years now, to focus on FEMA Go software code quality increases, and we are seeing progress there. The BRIC program had a number of tickets in the first year in FY22, as Emily has mentioned, but for future years for FY23, we saw that defect count significantly decline, almost a 30% reduction. And given some additional improvements we've made in the system, we expect that trend to continue in a good direction. For example, our current trend for the FY24 season, for the month of January in FY22, we had 68 tickets. FY23, we had 38 tickets. This year, we've got 15. There's still work to be done. I fully recognize that and take ownership of making sure that the system can continue to perform well for you and that we've solved those problems. One of the ways that we've addressed that is to start working with a new software developer that is focused solely on the operations and maintenance of the system, including defect remediation. And they are doing some really good work in resolving those defects and in getting them fixed quickly. So I believe that the issues will be fixed in future, and you'll see less challenges. In addition, for this year's funding opportunity, we worked with the BRIC program to redesign their workflows, reduce human error, because if information is entered incorrectly, it can cause problems with system functionality, and to allow projects to move independently of each other, which reduces the approval timelines for simple projects. We believe that that will improve customer experience overall. That was implemented prior to the current year's funding application period. So we're expecting to see reductions in the defects based on that as well. FEMA Go training is delivered, as you've seen, through existing stakeholder communication channels. So as part of your normal communications with the BRIC and FMA programs, we're able to help them with system-specific training materials. And we do have the BRIC training lead, Sean Servos, who's on the call today. If you have any questions related to how you can get help from the BRIC program in being able to navigate FEMA Go processes, or in being able to understand whether or not the challenges you're facing are system defects, or whether you need technical assistance to navigate those. We believe that having the BRIC program directly involved in training allows us to provide a better experience for our recipients. Not only can we answer questions related to system functionality, but we can answer questions related to the data being asked in your application and the context for the program, and being able to give you better technical assistance as well in those user engagements. So I think you're all aware BRIC is a really complicated program, and the system defects that we're experiencing are only one part of that complexity. And I do apologize for what challenges the system defects are adding to our stakeholders, to our recipients, in being able to navigate that process. But you have my commitment that we are working extremely hard to eliminate those defects and to address the ones that you've already identified. The help desk, and I think we have next, is it on the next slide? Hang on. Yeah, here. The help desk is your primary go-to point for following up on questions on any reports that you've given. So you call them, you let them know you're having a problem. problem, I would make sure you get a ticket number so that when you call back in, they can easily locate is on this slide as well. If you don't feel like you're getting timely responses from that help desk, please call me or email me rather, and I will follow up with them and we'll get you an answer back. It's very important for me that the help desks provide quality customer service and that we get those things corrected as quickly as possible. So I think we've had a couple other questions on the phone, and I'll ask John to just quickly summarize the question and his response for the questions that Emily and Janice put in.
Thanks, Alana. So Emily asked a question about the ability to submit a payment request for multiple projects at the same time. We have, in fact, heard that and identified that as an improvement opportunity, but I can't publicly share a release projection at this time. But we have it on our list of things to do for sure. And then Janice asked about the experience around payments relative to what the Homeland Security program currently uses and many other programs currently use, which is the Payment and Reporting System, or PARS. The actual system requirements for payment submission are very, very low. It's really entering a dollar amount. But what you need to do, and what my recommendation is, that you validate if there's any supplemental information that you need to provide along with that payment request. Different programs have different requirements for that. It may be nothing. It may be an attachment of some sort, so that you can make sure that you provide that it's an attachment, but the system will accept essentially a dollar amount as the payment submission. And I see Emily pointed out that our link is broken for the training material. So I think we thank you for pointing that out, Emily. We will make sure that that link gets fixed.
And just as you were looking through the training materials, as Timothy was walking you through the training materials, your browser should have opened up to the FEMA.gov/grants training site. If you just type in www.fema.gov/grants, you can explore that site, and it will take you, follow the links to FEMA Go and to FEMA Go training. The payment materials are in the post-award portion of those user guides and videos, so you can find that there. But if you're having any challenges on getting to that material, again, please call the help desk and they can help you. And I will pause here. A quiet crowd today. See if you guys have any more questions for me. Jarrell, we have a question from Margaret about whether the Q&A transcript will be added to the file share pod, the web links pod.
Yeah, we can get something out to everyone for the Q&A. We'll send out like a summary of the questions and those responses to everyone.
And thank you for pointing out the broken link. We'll get that fixed. And link to all those training materials. You can click that link if you haven't already done so and bookmark it. That would that's a valuable reference for you in the future. All right, looks like things have slowed down. I will stay in the meeting for a few more minutes in case anybody thinks of any last minute questions you've got for us. But at this time, this would conclude our thank you again for attending. And now that we have past this full operational capability milestone that we mentioned early on in the deck, we are going to be thinking about changing up the status briefing format to provide you even more information about system functionality and collect feedback from you on things that would be useful for you in the system going forward. Emily asked the question about the onboarding timeline for disaster grants. So HMGP, Hazard Mitigation Grants Program, will onboard its first declaration in Region 6 anytime now. The system's ready for them. We're just trying to pick which disaster we're going to test drive, essentially, with FEMA Go. And based on the results of that first use in Region 6, we will be making a decision with the HMGP program leadership of when we would roll that out, either adding more regions or going national. I think HMGP is also a complicated grant program, so we want to make sure that we've got it right before we put everyone into FEMA Go. So like I said, the first declaration out of Region 6 should be happening, any time now. And we will let you know in future status briefings and other messaging when HMGP would be expected to add more users. Teresa, thank you for that question. Is there a list of improvements that have been identified that can be shared? That's exactly what I'm thinking about for our future conversations each quarter, is to talk with you all about what improvements we've delivered and what improvements we have on the roadmap and other improvements that we're thinking about for the future years, right? There's a lot of work that's gone into getting us to this full operational capability milestone, which has been focused fundamentally on making sure that we can manage the financial aspects of all FEMA grants. And we do have a lot of other things we want to work on. I don't think I have off the top of my head a list of improvements that I could share with you immediately, but I'll take that for action. John and I will think about whether or not there's some messaging we can send out to our users about what improvements have been delivered over the last several years, the life of the program coming up to FOC. So thank you for that. Holly asks, will the grants reporting tool still be used this year for grant submission or investment justifications? So Holly, the grants reporting tool will be used for any grants that are being managed in that old non-disaster grant system, the ND grant system. But as they go, the reporting capabilities, the investment justification capabilities that were in grants reporting tool are going to be native right inside FEMA Go. So you won't have to be in two systems. All of that will happen in FEMA Go. Yes, Teresa, absolutely. That's part of what I'm sort of thinking in the future conversations that we have with you in these quarterly stakeholder status briefings, is first we would share with you what we've done over the last quarter and maybe give you some system demos of what that function is, how it works, some just-in-time kind of training. This just released, this is how it works. And then we will be sharing with you a list of the things that we are working on and gathering your feedback through this conversation, as well as through the survey that I referenced earlier, on other high-value things that you've identified that could help our grants recipients and customers in future. The issue of affecting prioritization is a good one, and I'll talk with John. Currently, that prioritization happens through a council of people from all of the programs using FEMA Go, but the representation on that council is primarily FEMA employees. I think that the idea of expanding the ability to influence prioritization to our external stakeholders is a really important point, especially now that we've hit this important milestone and we have, I think, a little bit more breathing room, a little bit more flexibility to involve the external users that are in the FEMA Go system more directly. And so I almost envision this quarterly status briefing becoming a user community that can help us to understand, help you to understand what we've delivered and help us understand what you need. And so I'm working with Jarell and the rest of the team to think about the redesign of this particular stakeholder engagement to be more focused on that, the user feedback and conversation. So absolutely, I think that's an important part of what we want to do over the next, starting with the next quarterly status briefing, is really thinking about how we can capture your thoughts on how the system is working and what we're delivering for you. Kathy, if you have multiple types of grants, for example, AFG, SAFER, HSGP, EMPG, LHMP, will you be able to use everyone under the same user ID? Yes, when you log into FEMA Go, you'll be able to see all of the different grants that you're participating with. And I apologize, I don't have a screenshot here that would kind of demonstrate that to you. But yes, you'll be able to see all of your grants under one login. Okay, at this time, I'll ask the team to turn off the recording. I think we're good to go. And I thank you again for joining us for this discussion. And I look forward to our future, how this conversation might be evolving in future, give you an up-close look on what we've delivered and get your feedback on what we should be building in the future. So thanks for joining us today. I will sit and monitor the Q&A pod for just a few more minutes if you have a question, but we'll terminate the meeting at this time. Thank you very much for joining. Bye-bye.